Hi everyone, good evening from Oman. I will wait for a minute till Instagram is setting it up and telling our followers that we have started a live video. Thanks Phoenix for joining. Thanks Rajam. Thanks Anshu Pavan for joining. Thanks Ion Caffeine and Parjit Bhatia. So before we get the author in, I think we don't need an introduction anymore. We've been doing this frequent enough. So we are here today for a prologue to the live chat with Sharon Krasny, who comes to talk to us on episode 3 of live chats at OBLC, celebrating the voices of women in the season 2, the women's edition. So let's get Sharon in and let's get to know a little bit about who she is and what's the book that we're going to talk about and why we are so excited and fascinated about it. Thanks, Vaibhavi. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for joining. Hi, Sharon.
Hello, Anisha. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
How's your Sunday going?
It's going well. I was outside a little bit. Wind was picking up. It's getting kind of chilly, so I came on back inside.
Okay. Yes, that's what I wondered. There's a scene change within a few minutes.
It got cold.
Hello, hey readers. Thank you for joining, Maya. So nice to see you. There are lots of very interesting people joining the live today. I'm very, very grateful for all of you to join. I think your friends and our friends are really supportive today, and I'm very excited to have them here. So just before you join, I just shared that I don't think this needs a lot of introduction because we are here. We've been doing it frequently enough, and I think our followers now are well acquainted to this prologue that we do on Instagram 2 days before the main chat. And we are very excited to have you, Sharon, on episode 3 of Live Chat at OBLC Season 2, which is a women's edition celebrating the voices of women. So thank you.
Thank you. What an excellent platform you have built for yourselves here. It's fantastic, and I'm so excited to be a part of it with you.
It's totally a pleasure, really, really. And you know, as I have been mentioning on my stories, I'm so fascinated reading your book. And you know, when I read such subjects, it really makes me wonder what really goes on in the minds of the person who has written such deep subject, you know, and this is what I was talking to you the other day when we met. So the basic structure of this short introductory live is to get to know a little bit about you, give a little teaser to the audience and followers, so what to expect in the live chat, and invite them to join the main chat on Tuesday. So for the benefit of our audience who have not read your book yet, we would like to ask you 3 broad things today.
Okay.
Who is Sharon Krasny, the person? This is question 1. Question 2, a little bit about your book so that people who haven't read it get to know a little bit. And the third we will talk about is what to expect in the main chat. So let's start with getting to know who is Sharon.
Well, I'm an English teacher. I teach advanced placement literature at high school for seniors. It's a college level credit. And for the past 15 years, I have been having students delve into the classics and looking at the human condition and the, you know, who am I questions of the stories. And after a while, I just began thinking, why not me? Why don't I try? Why am I always just reading and analyzing? Why not, you know, tell my story? So, you know, because of that foundation of being around and studying stories so much, it really was a natural step to take that risk and say, why not try? Why not me? That's where the book to be at.
Wow, that's really fascinating. Yes, and absolutely right. I mean, that's the natural progression. You did tell me about the course you were undertaking, so that's how this happened. So tell us about the book. There will be 2 aspects of it. Why did you and how did you choose to write, and why this subject, which is so fascinating?
So the course that you mentioned, I was in a master's course for children's literature, And one of the things we had to do was we had to write a couple chapters of our own book. And I was interested in Otzi. He was, I don't know, he was just an interesting kind of a discovery. And so I decided to start with him. And I had about 2 or 3 chapters done, and my professor hand wrote a note on the paper that said, I want to read more. And so that was very exciting. And of course, you know, time got in the way and it got put off for so long. But really, it came down to the fact that he was murdered. He was brutally murdered from behind. And it's a mystery. And I've always wanted to write a story, but I think mystery stories are really tricky because you have to have all these little nuanced clues that you spread throughout. And I thought, well, this is the oldest cold case that there is, that, you know, people have out there. So I can start with this. I can try this one because they can tell me I'm wrong. So
True.
that's one of the reasons I started with Otzi, because he is fascinating. There's so much mystery and so many questions that surround him, and the fact that he was frozen for 5,000 years under ice, and it was just preserving everything about him.
Did I lose the connection? I think we lost you a little bit in between. So, you know, for people who don't know about Otzi, maybe a little bit of background, the year that this mummy was discovered, a little bit, you know, that forms the preface of your book. If you could just share, it will actually be good for the people who don't have this background.
Absolutely. So Otzi was discovered back in 1991 by some German hikers who were hiking up in the Otzi Mountains. That's why he's called Otzi. The Otzi Mountains are part of the Tyrolean mountain range. And he was frozen under a glacier for 5,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. And he had a backpack, he had clothing, he had a bearskin hat, but he also had medicinal treatments that were far beyond what they thought people at that time period had. And he also had this forged copper axe. That piece right there was really a status symbol, because it would have taken about 100 pounds of malachite to create that copper axe. And so they really had a lot of speculation as to why would somebody shoot this man in the back. He was just sitting down, relaxing, or standing. They don't know if sitting, standing, but he was relaxed. He had just eaten a meal. They were able to dissect what he had for his meal. They found out that, you know, they smoked meat back then, and there's so many advancements surrounding him that he has challenged us with. Over 600 research projects are done on him at any one given time. So he's challenging modern 21st century to think again, to look again, and to say, what is it that we have forgotten? What do we need to learn about what it means to be human? So he's kind of a cool guy.
Yeah. That's very, very fascinating, actually. And like I mentioned in one of my stories also, you know, what I'm really enjoying about your book is how you have taken up this historic, ancient history subject, a mystery, and also built in a philosophy around it, you know, what we need to learn about just being humans. And as well, you know, how advanced that time might have been, which we weren't aware. And over the last almost 30 years, how much we have learned about those times through the research projects running on him. I also read the fact that when you started writing this book, there wasn't much available online. But as you wrote, that was also the time period when the research kept on progressing around him. So yeah, some of our members have just commented how fascinating, it's amazing. Wow. Trupti, Parjit, My Parallel Universe, thank you so much. And I think Cold Case, lots of comments there. People are really excited. The archaeologists who studied about Otzi are just incredible. So technology advanced for the time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of interest from how long was it, the thesis done by you, and at what point you decided to write a story about it? Interesting. We can answer this briefly, although this is something we will also cover in the main chat, but let's answer it for the members who asked it. How long was the thesis done by you, and what point you decided to write the story about it?
So I was researching about him, reading about him. Actually, it started just reading about him, and I was interested, and I think it was about 12. And write a little bit because I'm a teacher, and so whenever we had snow days, I would take the time to write, and I would enjoy my time, or sometimes in the summertime I would just enjoy casually writing the story. um,
Hmm.
it wasn't until maybe 5 years ago that I got serious about it, and
Hmm.
COVID really made me serious about it. I'm not really sure what about being in lockdown did it, but it just held me still. It made me say, do you really want to do this or not? And I did. And so it allowed for an opportunity to just take my writing and be serious about it. If you're going to publish a book, you've got to want it. And for me to sit for 12 years and say, yeah, I want to write it, that wasn't enough. It was COVID that made me say, yes, I really want to do this. I have the time. I'm going to do it now. So that was, I think, the big pushing point to really finish and get the draft done and get it out to the publisher so that way it could launch.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So, what can we expect in the chat on Tuesday? And for members who are watching, just to share, this is just a prologue. Prologue is the bookish language to a teaser to the main chat, which happens every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Oman time, where we are, which is 4 p.m. GMT, which is 12 p.m. EST, which is Sharon's time zone. So Tuesday on these time zones, we will be going live on our Facebook page and our YouTube. The links are in our bio, and the details will also be posted over the next 2 days. So do watch the full live episode where we will be taking every comments, every questions from the audience, as well as a very interesting conversation lined up. So yes, please tell me what all can we expect on Tuesday.
Well, I'll say this. Iceman Awakens was not the book I wanted to write. It was the book I needed to write. And on Tuesday, when we get together, we'll talk about how I really wanted to write about a woman. I really wanted to write about a mother, because that's what I am. And instead, I found my voice in this frozen, murdered little dead guy who was found on a mountaintop 30 years ago. That's where I found my voice. And that's what we're going to talk about on Tuesday.
Yeah, lovely. These are unexpected things happen, and we are so glad that this happened, because really, I mean, it's really fascinating to read about the subject that you've written about, and we are also excited to know about for your second book, which is coming up soon, and we'll talk more about it in the chat on Tuesday. So yes, and for just to add to what you just said, we will talk a lot more about the publishing journey, because that's been a common theme, a question coming in from our audience, maybe the aspiring authors. You know, how writing a story is one part of the game, the getting the publishing done is another. And a lot more about your reading, how do you think it impacts your writing, a lot about your book, more details about Otzi. So these are things that we will be covering on Tuesday. And yes, all the live audience comments and questions are going to be taken up alongside. Yeah, same here. So thank you so much, Sharon. That's it for today. It is just supposed to be a little teaser to let people know what to expect and who we are talking to. See you then on Tuesday, same time. It's almost the same time that we will be meeting. Yes.
Absolutely.
So this will be live streamed. Just a reminder, this will be live streamed on Facebook and YouTube of Oman Book Lovers Club, not on Instagram. This is just a teaser here. Somebody, I think your friend says, way to go, Sharon, life behind my lenses. Gosh. Thank you, everybody who's joined the live today. We're really thrilled for the support, and thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday, the same time. Thank you. Thanks, Sharon. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.